This is Steve Leibowitz from WIN TV. We're going to be speaking today with Dr. Efraim Zuroff, the Holocaust expert and actually Nazi hunter, about a Polish delegation that's arrived in Israel to discuss the differences between the Israeli and Polish governments over a new law in Poland relating to the Holocaust. If you were on the Israeli committee, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that, first of all, we have absolutely no problem with the first aspect of the law, which is to ban or criminalize the use of the term Polish death camps, because they were not Polish death camps. They were Nazi camps built on Polish soil, and the Poles were not the ones who ran them and didn't share any of the responsibility for the mass murders carried out in those death camps. I would say to them at the same time that the second provision of the law, which criminalizes attributing participation in the crimes of the Holocaust to the Polish nation, the Polish state, is very problematic because it appears to be an attempt to whitewash the crimes of many Poles against Jews during World War II. Now, if you really stick to the letter of the law is perhaps a bit more understandable because the Polish state did not exist. There was no Polish state.
It was occupied by the Nazis.
Occupied, and the Polish people were very repressed and suffered tremendously under the Nazis, who considered them Untermenschen, subhumans, and the victim tally speaks for itself. 6 million Poles were murdered. 3.3 million of them were Jews, Jews living in Poland. So, in other words, the occupation of Poland was very brutal, and Poles undoubtedly suffered. But having said that, there's no question that many, many thousands of Poles participated in crimes against Jews, were responsible for killing Jews, informing on Jews, turning Jews over to the Gestapo, and the estimate of the Jews who lost their lives as a result is at least 200,000.
There's been a lot of things said, a lot of anger on both sides, you could say, about the way things have played out over the last days and weeks. Do you see any way of the two sides coming together in agreement?
I think you have to put the genie back in the box. In other words, the furor over the issue has led to an outburst of anti-Semitism. And the Jews in Poland today, who have done a nice job in trying to revive Jewish life, whatever there is left of it, feel threatened. And it's like decades, 3 decades of solid cooperation and friendship even, I would say, it might go down the tubes because of this. But in certain respects, this is also a function of the Polish mentality, which is a mentality that is super sensitive about its honor. And this is part of the problem. In other words, whatever objections we had, we don't want to do anything to insult the Poles. But we have to insist, and this is our obligation as Jews and as Israelis, to defend the accurate narrative of World War II and the Holocaust. And this is an obvious attempt to whitewash their participation. It's not an attempt, in other words, we don't in any way want to minimize their suffering, and we acknowledge their suffering. But I mean, this has to be done in historical context, has to be done accurately.